It has come to my attention that we're all suddenly Chinese.
Rock, paper, scissors. Now you're Chinese?
一生都你我的
我们今生注定是沧桑。
I just found out from my cousin Sherry that I'm officially Chinese.
So, like many of you, I've recently been informed that I am Chinese. So I just wanted to give a quick ni hao.
So it's come to my attention that lately everyone on the internet is at a very Chinese time in their life. If that sentence confused you, girl, same. So let's talk about why everyone is suddenly becoming Chinese, chinamaxxing, or at a very Chinese time in their life. Hi guys, welcome back to my cozy corner of the internet where I talk about all sorts of social media trends. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Barry. So rather than explaining to you what this trend is, because I'm not even sure if words are even capable of explaining what the latest meme is that's possessing the internet, what better way than to just show you?
I found out I was Chinese last night.
Apparently I'm Chinese. We're all Chinese now. As a Chinese baddie,
I'm officially Chinese.
我们今生注定是沧桑。我们今生注定是沧桑。
Day one of being a Chinese baddie.
我们今生注定是沧桑。我们今生注定是沧桑。哭着来，要笑着走过呀，朋友啊。 让我们一起牢牢铭记呀，我们今生兄弟情一场。
As you can see, a majority of these videos tend to suggest that drinking hot water, boiling apples, eating congee in the morning, wearing slippers in the house, practicing Tai Chi means you're Chinese, or signals your initiation into being Chinese. So it kind of seems like the trend came out of nowhere, but after doing some research, aka digging in TikTok comments, it seems like the trend first originated from an American Chinese girl named Sherry Zhu, who made a video telling her viewers that you are now also Chinese.
You don't know me, so if this is on your For You page, this is meant for you. 我是个 ABC, 所以如果你现在看我的视频的话，你也就是个 ABC. 如果你认为我说的是错的话，你就不知道。 你父母从来没有跟你说过，这是他们的秘密。但是我现在就跟你说他们的秘密，你是个 ABC， 华裔。
You're telling me this is what sparked all of that? That's crazy. Now, I don't know if this is really what started the trend, but who knows? I'm a little bit skeptical since this TikTok only has 1 million views, 200k likes, which is not a small number, but it seems a little bit low to spark such an absurd trend to this degree. But what do I know? Regardless of who or what started the trend, what's fascinating is how it caught on and how everyone collectively decided to adopt Chinese culture and hard launch a brand new Chinese identity overnight. Now everyone is adopting these random little habits that to Chinese people are very normal, mundane, and habitual little things you do at home without even thinking about it. And that's pretty much what the trend is, which seems kind of random and kind of silly, but I think it does go a little bit deeper than that because I was thinking about what makes the meme so appealing. Why do people like this idea of becoming Chinese so much? Why do they like these particular habits? I think one of the main reasons is because all these little traits, these little habits, have an underlying theme of health and wellness. Specifically, traditional Chinese medicinal practices. Drinking hot water is supposed to help your digestion, increase circulation, and the balance of energy in your body. Guys, I'm a big fan of cold drinks, and my aunties always scolded me and told me I have to drink hot water, and I ignored them until I had health problems, and they're like, yeah, that's because you drink ice water all the time. And I thought it was nonsense, but when I switched to hot water, my health problems actually magically went away. Specifically, my congestion and energy levels, which is so random, but I don't know, I can't explain it. It just worked out for me. So maybe the Chinese people are onto something.
Things you need to know when joining the Becoming Chinese trend. A netizen cried, Chinese people don't use microwave to heat up tap water. Someone agreed, this is not very Chinese. For boiling water to drink, it's best to use a clay pot over wood fire. Besides the health benefits documented in traditional Chinese medicine text, the practical reason that Chinese people drink hot water was because during the Korean War, the United States dropped bacteriological bombs on North Korean and Chinese soils, causing massive casualties on civilians.
Okay, I did not even know that. I just thought Chinese people like to drink scalding hot water because all of my aunties, they like to drink hot water, and I don't mean just like hot, I mean like the kettle just and it's literally scalding hot and will give you burns, and that's the temperature that they like to drink at. Honestly, had no idea that it had anything to do with chemical or biological warfare, but there you go. I guess that's why Chinese people are so used to drinking hot water and boiling their water. Congee is boiled rice until the rice falls apart into like a porridge consistency, and it's literally just watery, mushy rice. It's believed to be easy to digest and is commonly eaten in the morning when digestion is supposedly more sensitive. I don't know if this is true, by the way. I'm just a humble Canadian-born Chinese, but I tend to only eat congee when I'm sick and I want plain food and, you know, just something simple, because when you're sick, you don't really have an appetite for like greasy or super flavorful foods, I feel like. And bonus fact about congee is that historically, eating congee is a way of stretching your resources out to last longer. So for example, if all you can afford that week is 1 dozen eggs and you have to survive off of those eggs, you could pickle them and make salted eggs. So this is just an extremely salty egg that would give you a sodium attack, but then you don't get a sodium attack because you eat it with a ton of congee, which is super plain boiled watery rice, and balances out the extreme salty flavor. So you just need like a tiny piece of salty egg and a whole bowl of congee, and you can survive off of that. And you could also do this with other cheap ingredients like tofu, pickled vegetables, salted nuts, things like that. Side note, this trend peaked right before Chinese New Year, which is why you might have heard about the Year of the Horse, which is this year's zodiac. Along with all these superstitions of things you can and can't do for Chinese New Year, one of them includes not eating congee because it's associated with poverty and struggle. Instead, you're encouraged to eat expensive foods to bring in wealth and prosperity. Noodles because they're long for longevity and long life. And there's a bunch of other superstitious habits and foods as well, like no cleaning or washing your hair for Chinese New Year because that supposedly washes away the good luck for the year. And these are all things that I guess adds more fun side quests for people to participate in becoming Chinese. But to Chinese people, this is nothing new. These are things that we've been doing before it was cool and will continue to do when it's not cool. And the to-do list of becoming Chinese continues. Tai Chi, which is the slow exercise that you'll see old people doing at the park. That's also low impact on the joints, good for balance and posture, mental focus, stress reduction, and flexibility. Wearing slippers, which we've seen in a bunch of these videos, is popular because wearing slippers in the house keeps your house cleaner, but also I think it's kind of like a mental thing that separates your home from the outside world so that your home is kind of a protected and private space.
Now that everyone is Chinese, let me tell you why Chinese people wear slippers in the home. We do that to keep our feet warm. So in Chinese medicine, we have a lot of meridians or channels that start in our feet, such as our spleen, our stomach, our liver, our kidney. And all of these meridians go up our legs, travel our legs, and enter our abdomen. So cold feet means cold abdomen. Cold abdomen means that you might have digestive issues, fertility issues, anything that is cold and stagnant. So next time you're in the home, please wear slippers or even socks. Do anything you can to warm your feet, and your life and your health will transform.
And all of these little habits are related to health and wellness, which as we know has been a popularized trend for many years now. So this is kind of just like a new little ethnic spin to it, along with the internet's new fascination with China, which I'm sure you guys are all aware of by now, that China is kind of cool now. And it's kind of giving the same vibe as like when I was in high school, I was a big anime enjoyer, and that was weird and cringe. And then I think during COVID, that's when anime started to become popular and cool. The same thing with K-pop. K-pop fans used to be viewed as cringy and weird, and suddenly K-pop and K-drama became popularized and widely accepted, and now that's cool too. So yeah, now it kind of seems like it's China's turn, with their reputation being technologically advanced and rapidly developing. It's no surprise that they're the next new and fun and edgy cool thing. I also think it's because TikTok blew up so quickly, and as we know, TikTok is or was, I don't know if it's still owned by a Chinese company or if it's been sold, but originally when it first blew up, it was owned by a Chinese company. And naturally, as you can imagine, being a Chinese app, there's going to be lots of Chinese content on it, and therefore exposing the users to China and its culture. And then in 2025, iShowSpeed went to China, which only made China even more popular. And I think that's because Americans just had no idea what China was really like, and it wasn't at all what they thought it was going to be like. Mobile payments for everything, and I mean literally everything. High-speed trains and infrastructure, modern city nightlife, tech-forward and innovative, and that's just to name a few things. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that this meme probably caught on in part due to China becoming really popular. And I think it comes from a place of just wanting to engage and interact with Chinese culture in a fun little way, you know, through food, home habits, nothing too serious or political. However, some people, especially American Chinese people, find this trend to be cultural appropriation and a little bit off-putting, which is totally understandable.
Oh, you guys caught me at such a Chinese time of my life. Did you guys want to be Chinese in 2020? Did you guys want to be Chinese during COVID? Huh?
When I was 3, I literally told my mom in a Toys R Us that I hated Chinese people and wished I was white. I used to hate being Asian.
I made a promise.
To everyone who's currently at a very Chinese time in their life, I have a question for you. What was your attitude towards Chinese culture like during 2020, during the pandemic? Because don't think that we have forgotten all the racial slurs that were hurled towards us during that time period. Don't think we've forgotten about the wave of Asian hate that happened during those years. It still kind of blows my mind how it took the threat of TikTok being shut down for people to finally open their eyes and realize that China is not this barbaric country that it's been made out to be for so long. There's actually, in fact, more to Chinese culture than eating dogs. And people have told me not to be upset that it's taken this long, because better late than never, I guess, but that doesn't make up for all the discrimination Asian Americans have faced, especially Chinese Americans, because our culture was never the cool, trendy Asian one. And the saddest part is, at first I was grateful for China becoming trending, because this is something I've waited for my whole life, for my own culture to finally stop being demonized. And at first it felt so relieving that I finally didn't have to fight to defend myself, that Chinese culture is so beautiful. And I'm not saying the country is perfect as a whole, but I was so happy that people were finally willing to give us a chance. But that's so sad, because it's so easy for you guys to forget everything that we've gone through and experienced as Chinese Americans, and for you to just laugh everything off. And now that China is trendy, you can be like, oh, I had a very Chinese time in my life, and make all these memes about appreciating China, etc. When just a few years ago, you had no problem tearing us down for no reason. When we can't even speak up about it, because we should just be grateful that you guys are finally looking at Chinese culture in a positive light.
And being Chinese myself, I can totally understand both sides. It's kind of like, oh, being Chinese for you is a quirky and fun little joke. But for Chinese people, it's their identity being reduced to just a trend, fashion statement, or aesthetic. Kind of like a costume that you can just put on and take off whenever you want to. And a lot of Chinese Americans are offended by this, because the very thing that made them experience racism for decades, being Chinese, is now cool. and being celebrated, which is great, but that hasn't always been the case. And as you can see, a lot of creators are mentioning the COVID pandemic when Asian hate and particularly Chinese hate was at its peak. And it was actually pretty bad. Like, I remember seeing a lot of articles of violence against Asians, particularly Chinese elderly people who couldn't defend themselves. My uncle's cafe was broken into and trashed that time, along with several other surrounding Chinese-owned businesses. So it was not a fun time in 2020 to be Chinese. Because if you were Chinese at that time in your life, that also meant that you eat dogs and bats, and you're probably unsanitary and probably carrying a virus. But yeah, being Chinese is cool now because they have cheap electric cars, funny internet memes, and I show Speed likes China, so yay, I guess. For Chinese people in China, on the other hand, their view on this meme is that it's just a regular day on the internet. For them, it's just another internet meme. On other Chinese platforms like Douyin and Weibo, their response is generally joking back, like, wait until your parents ask you when you're gonna get married, or wait until the only career path you're allowed to have is to become a doctor, lawyer, or engineer. I think it's also validating for them to have their culture appreciated and recognized globally, because up until recently, global pop culture has mostly been dominated by Western media. But yeah, they're just not that serious about it, probably because they're in China where everyone is Chinese, so they didn't have to experience, years of racism. So their view on this meme is generally positive, and that is just a silly way of Westerners appreciating and showing interest in their culture. I also think part of the meme is kind of poking fun at how Gen Z likes to adopt temporary trends and aesthetics as a whole identity. For example, strawberry girl summer, it girl, clean girl, French girl chic, Scandi style, where you can just change one little thing about yourself, like drinking hot water and wearing slippers in the house, and give yourself a whole new identity makeover.
Excuse me, what's this line for? Oh, we're content creators getting in on this new viral trend. Yeah, super lucrative. You can get millions of views. Wow, I want millions of views. What do I have to do? Get a load of this guy. Mate, becoming Chinese is no joke. I can tell just by looking at you, you do not have what it takes. What do you mean? Mate, could you drink boiling hot water every day? No pain, no gain. There's Mandarin coming along. Konnichiwa. 안녕하세요. What has happened? You two, front of the line, you're exactly what we're looking for. What about you? What are your qualifications? Well, I speak Mandarin and I've travelled pretty extensively around the country. Beijing, Shanghai, that cyberpunk city I can't pronounce. I went to some smaller villages like in Yunnan and Gansu and Sichuan. Never heard of them. Too niche. Move on. Or you with the labubu, straight to the front.
Is it a very Chinese time in your life? Social media users are adopting habits like drinking hot water, wearing slippers at home, and doing traditional Chinese exercises to become a Chinese baddie. It's all part of chinamaxxing, a trend where young Westerners are embracing Chinese culture and aesthetics online. It marks a major vibe shift within the American public after years of xenophobia that ramped up during COVID and recent geopolitical tension.
China, 67%. That's tariff.
Some experts say it reflects a deeper dissatisfaction with life at home. Ongoing issues like the anti-immigration crackdown, political turmoil, and gun violence have dulled the veneer of the US, pushing some young people to look elsewhere. Their curiosity about China is partly fueled by the country's post-pandemic reopening, including relaxed visa stays and efforts to promote tourism. On social media, viral clips about seemingly futuristic cities have added to the fascination. A glimpse of progress in China, though oversimplified, presents a striking contrast to what's happening back in America. This internet trend has been controversial too, with some Chinese diaspora calling it insensitive and cultural appropriation. But for a brief moment, it offers an unlikely digital bridge between two cultures often divided by politics.
So I'm wondering if there's also a lot of politics behind this trend.
It's quite interesting to me how China is suddenly cool with people being in a very Chinese time of their life. I think it's very different to when Japan was trending from the 80s and Korea was trending since 2000s and 2010s, because they're both US allies and US even helped Japan completely rebrand, so most people don't even know about Japan's war crimes. So when Japan and Korea became popular, there was a lot of curiosity and fascination position and it aligns with the media and government positions. But with China, governments and media, especially the US, have portrayed China and anything Chinese in the worst way for decades, and you grew up thinking China is an enemy and this dystopian place. It was impossible for China to build any soft power because this narrative was so dominant, and if you say anything positive, it will be labeled CCP propaganda. But even with billions of dollars spent to make you hate China, eventually you just don't buy it anymore, and that started happening in 2025. People jumped on Xiaohongshu and visited China themselves, or saw other people visit and realized it was not what they were told. Actually, it was opposite with how friendly everyone is and how safe and advanced it is. So China and Chinese culture mainly started trending because people became more skeptical of their own government and media and the narrative they wanted you to believe, and coming onto social media or visiting China themselves and seeing a completely different side.
To me, on first impression, I thought it was kind of just very light-hearted, very hee hee ha ha, nothing serious, kind of silly. But also, it's a little off-putting. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was very confused when I just opened my phone one day and saw a Caucasian woman telling me that she's Chinese. I'm like, oh. And I just, did what the normal person does and open the comment section to see what other people are saying about this. And unsurprisingly, it was pretty divided. Like, there's some supportive comments that are validating her and also supporting her. People also engaging in this Chinese time in their life.
There's a new trend going on with people saying, you found me at a very Chinese time of my life from non-Chinese people. And drinking hot water, understanding that cold water is really bad for you. Eating jujube dates and drinking apple tea, doing qigong exercises, and using Chinese medicine principles. Focusing on your health? Hell yeah. I'm so happy that you're at a very Chinese time of your life. Because me too. I've never been more Chinese than this. Welcome to my
Same.
culture. I'm so happy you're here.
Aw, she's so sweet.
Shout out to everyone out there that's saying you met me at a real Chinese time in my life.
I recently found out that I'm Chinese. It's my first day being Chinese.
My attention that we're all suddenly Chinese.
I'm happy to have you on board. As we say in Chinese culture, welcome to La Familia. But I do warn you that I don't think you want this life. As the great Ronnie Coleman once said, everybody want to be Chinese, but don't nobody want to do no Chinese shit. Like, oh, you're drinking hot apple tea now? That's great, but when's the last time you innovated in a STEM field? Did you even master linear algebra? Like, can you solve this? If not, I would say put down the hot apple tea and figure it out if you're trying to be Chinese. Like, oh, you're majoring in music at NYU? Unfortunately, if you're trying to be Chinese, you're going to have to cut that shit out. Huawei needs precision manufacturing engineers. I'm sorry, just majoring in music is not going to increase the socioeconomic value of your family or your province. So you're going to need to be a precision manufacturing engineer. But yeah, I welcome you to being Chinese. Just know the work is just beginning. Wearing house slippers and eating hot pot doesn't make you a Chinese baddie. Developing autonomous self-driving harvesters and using them to increase grain production by up to 72%.
That's actually how to be real Chinese. Oh my god, guys. I'm not Chinese enough for this. I'm not gonna lie. Them chicken toes are actually good though, but it depends on how you cook it.
Now, I might be a little late to the party, but Chinese New Year's being celebrated by other people is completely fine. I don't know why, but there's like this huge discourse online where it's like, oh my god, you guys are making fun of Chinese New Year's. Oh, you met me in such a Chinese part of my life, or something like that. I don't exactly understand why people are so sensitive. They're not making fun of you. Maybe it might be a trend and not genuine, but that's how most things start. If you want people to enjoy your culture, you have to make it fun. Making it a trend, sure, that's fun. Obviously, if it's a trend, some people are going to grift, but some people will stay and will genuinely appreciate the culture.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really know how I feel about this trend either. And it seems like the internet is also divided as well. We don't know how to feel about it. There's equal parts of people who appreciate their culture being celebrated and enjoyed and recognized. And there's another group that's like, I don't know, what about, COVID? What about all those years when being Chinese was really hard and people were racist. And then there's also people who feel both. So that's about it for this trend. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think it's harmless and a lighthearted way to appreciate and participate in Chinese culture? Or is it inappropriate to make jokes about being Chinese for the sake of a video and trend? Or do you have other opinions? I would love to hear your thoughts, so let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up to let me know and subscribe for more videos like these. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!